6. The name of the episode was New Normal. I don't have a synopsis for y'all because they didn't upload it. I had been waiting for a while for them to upload it. They never did. I don't think they got a synopsis for next week's episode either. But yeah, first things first, let me know y'all thoughts down below. What did y'all think of the episode? How do y'all feel about Zach showing up at the end of the episode? Also, do y'all think that Karen gonna get to talking now that Zach has stopped by the house? So the review. Maurice and Paige was just trying to teach Sabrina how to be a 304. Andy ends up letting Bradley, aka Benson, know about Cruz and everything he's done against black women and stuff like that. And he ended up getting mad. He said, look here. He's like, you think I want to see this printed off BS? Come with some concrete evidence. And I was like, well, if that's documentation, isn't that enough evidence? I was like, man, we got another one, y'all. We got another one. Aside from that, we're still trying to take care of Karen. Leonard won't stay out of Danny's face. And I was like, could he be Tony's replacement? What y'all think? Could he say he knew something that she didn't know? I don't know if it was last week's episode or the week before last, but didn't he say that he knows something that she don't know? I was like, is he going to be the replacement? I don't know. But yeah, what else? Zach ends up meeting a guy named Keys at the gym, and he ends up opening up to him. Pima ends up agreeing to let Hayden help with the ball player or whatever, and they showing Samara on this week's episode. She already in the dude face. I was like, dude, get your, I don't think they married no more, is they? I was about to say, come over here, get your wife. Golly. And Andy and Danny was just up with Karen to check on her and stuff like that, because Aaron has told Danny on tonight's new episode that, you know, she been doing strange stuff, trying to cook and stuff. But I feel like maybe after this conversation with Zach, she gonna finally start to, you know, be herself again. And, well, I don't think we want her to be herself again. I don't think we want her. Because, you know, they keep saying how she acting strange, she not doing this and that, or whatever. I don't think we really want her to be the old Karen, do we? But she had looked back at the baby on today's episode, so I was like, maybe she's slowly starting to, you know, come back too. But okay, so in today's episode, not too much happened, or tonight's episode, not too much happened in my opinion. What was the highlights of the episode? I don't think it was no highlight. At the ending, when Zach showed up, that's probably gonna be what leads her to finally, you know, hold her baby and stuff. Maybe he's gonna remind her the same thing that everybody been telling him, the fact that he's still alive, that she's still alive, and stuff like that. I feel like after that whole conversation, that's when she gonna pick up the baby. I could be wrong, we'll see. But I think regardless, Aaron gonna end up feeling some type of way. Like everybody been saying, she only feel this way because it being Zach's baby. Maybe Aaron's gonna feel the same way. Y'all know I've been saying it. Now I don't necessarily agree that she actually doing what people been saying, because they haven't showed us anything. But I did say how this may be what gets Karen to talking again. But yeah, on tonight's episode, Maurice was just encouraging Sabrina to get with somebody else. Talking about the best way to get over somebody old is to get under somebody new. Y'all know that saying they always say. And Sabrina, you know, saying, you know, it's time to do her and stuff like that. She ready to step into her 304 phase. And I said, she went from, look, with Andy, she went from saying last season how she wanted to be with him, to now saying, you know, she want to just focus on herself. Whatever she said, I don't know. I think she said she wanted to focus on herself. And now you got Sabrina over here. She went from wanting the family to now she want to be a 304. I said, make up your mind now. And I said, I don't think Marie the person you should be listening to. And what happened to his dude? What was his name? Grayson? What happened to dude? I don't know. I guess he gone for good, y'all. But what else? Let's see. Andy attempts to call Robin. She says she wants to be friends. And that's when I was asking y'all, didn't she decide she wanted to be with him last season? Then she ends up being on the phone with somebody named Rhonda. Was that the nurse lady from the hospital? Either way it goes, she called and said that Dr. Cruz had another lady last night. I don't know if she said last night. We just gonna say last night. But Rhonda ends up informing her that another lady, she ended up bleeding out and stuff like that. It ended in miscarriage. I think her name was Tisha. And she went to law school with Andy or whatever. And the whole Bradley Benson dude, I would have never guessed his name. Y'all know I said, what was his name? I remember hearing Benson, but I never remember hearing Bradley though. Oh, he had a fit. He said, that's about coffee, but I ain't never known him to do no stuff like that. I was like, why people be saying stuff like that? You wouldn't if you say, well, I say half and half. Because obviously if you repeatedly say racist stuff, then people gonna know, oh, you racist or whatever. Then on the other hand, some people actually do be saying racist stuff, so you automatically know they racist. But he was talking about some, I've never known him to say anything like that or whatever. And I was like, what you think this is? Like, obviously not. She telling you and she got the proof. He talking about some, come with concrete evidence, not this printed off BS. I was like, he mad, ain't it? Sit up here and talk about his golfing buddy. What the world? Vaughn did say how, it's about who you golf with. He kind of gave her a little sneak peek, tried to let her know without letting her know any names. Then he gonna try to twist it on Vaughn. Talking about, so you sure this Dr. Vaughn didn't do anything? I said, oh, he better watch his back. They finna come after him. For him to say that, they'll rather go after him knowing that he didn't have nothing to do with it than to actually prosecute or hold this man accountable. I said, I think he gonna be a scapegoat, y'all. I think he gonna end up being a scapegoat. But what else? Let's see. Then I was also asking, I think I asked y'all this last week. So I think they said, wouldn't Benson, aka Bradley, is he a partner too? So she a partner, a big boss or whatever. Do that mean she got to get the other partner's vote or something? Can't she go against him? I don't know if she could go up against him or not, but we'll see. I'm assuming. Excuse me. I'm assuming. What else next? Let's see. Aaron was still trying to check on Karen, try to get her to hold the baby and stuff like that. She was just saying how she can't. Hopefully, next week's episode is when she finally holds faith. Because it's time to move on now. It definitely is. She was saying she can't, and he was just trying to get her to hold the baby and everything. Pam ends up calling the chick on Karen, and he was like, call back tomorrow, and he hung up on her. And she said Karen rubbing off on Aaron. She was saying how Karen is rubbing off on Aaron. Leonard was in Danny's face again. And I was asking y'all at the beginning of this, do y'all think that he's going to end up being her boss? Because he said he knew something that she didn't know or whatever. I don't know what he was talking about, but yeah. And I was like, how many times she going to threaten you before you stay at her face? She done showed you that she don't care. And obviously she can't get fired. I ain't going to say she can't get fired. I take that back. But she was the one who dumped that coffee on him the last time, and she ended up getting paid. I mean, she ain't got the money yet. They actually talked about that on tonight's new episode. Because she was asking Andy on the phone, because I don't think I wrote that down. But she was asking her, when she going to get her settlement money. And she said it's a process or whatever. They had to actually make sure nobody appeals it. And she was like, why would they do that? So I want to know if they actually going to appeal it or not. But what else? Let's see. Bradley ends up coming in to check on Andy. And she seemed like she was out of it or whatever. Like her mind was somewhere else because he was trying to talk to her. And she kept saying she was okay. But that's when she ends up saying how she's considering bringing up a malpractice lawsuit against this doctor or whatever. And he was like, what's the doctor name? And she was like, Dr. Cruz. And he's like, what? What he said? He was shocked. He told me, that's my golfing buddy. Don't nobody care about you playing no golf. What the world going on? You think that matter when people lives at stake? They losing their babies and bleeding out. You talking about some doggone golf? Is you cool? What the world going on? They got me saying this, you cool. Well, yeah, he talking about some my golfing buddy. He got mad and stuff. Talking about come with concrete. Look, I keep saying that part, but that's what he said, though. That's technically what he said. But what else? Let me see. Excuse me. Marisa ends up explaining the rules to H-in 304 and or whatever to Sabrina. Paige ends up coming in to check on Sabrina after the whole Rich situation. She ends up saying she could throw hands if need be or whatever. I was like, girl, get up out of here. You don't need to see nothing else because I still don't trust you. But she ends up sitting down. She done got comfortable and stuff. She started trying to explain the rules to Sabrina as well about what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't bring them to your house. You shouldn't do this and that. You should get a burner phone. I was like, girl. But yeah, so far, she seemed legit, y'all. I give her that. But yeah, Fatima ends up checking on Zach. And he still was struggling and everything. He just was saying how stuff just keep happening back to back. Bradley ends up making excuses for Cruz. He said maybe Vaughn did something. And that's why I said it seems like they're going to end up making him the scapegoat. What else? He started, because she did, though. She kept saying my friend. But, I mean, it is her friend. She kept saying my friend lost her baby. My friend this. And he was like, you too close to this. Because I noticed you keep saying your friend or whatever. And she was like, I am close to this. And that's why, she bringing it about. And I said, this man done gave every doggone excuse in the doggone book. I said, is you one of them or what? I said, what's going on? I said, he sit up here. What he said next? He was like, that's when he started talking about the concrete evidence and some BS she printed up or whatever. And I was like, she's showing you the different people that done came, how they all got the same skin color. They all either miscarried, bled out. He wasn't attentive to them. And you over here talking about the doggone concrete evidence. How much more concrete evidence you need? Because obviously they ain't gonna put in there, this man don't sit up here and made this lady lose her baby. That's not what they gonna put in the doggone document. They put anything. Because the nurse lady at the doggone desk is probably one of many. But yeah, it's my concrete evidence. I was like, what do he want? Them to actually come forward and say something? But yeah, I was like, yeah, I could see them using Dr. Vaughn as a scapegoat because he already said it. He already done said it, basically. Talking about, so maybe this Dr. Vaughn did something. But yep, hold on. I forgot how did they get to talk about Dr. Vaughn anyways? I think I think he asked, was she doing good, or she said something about she almost died or whatever. He's like, there you go then, or something he said. And that's when she mentioned Dr. Vaughn. And that's when he tried to make it seem like Dr. Vaughn was the reason why she had lost the baby and everything. Aaron ends up telling Danny that Karen acting strange because she called to check on her, but she ain't answering her phone. He was just telling her everything that she's been doing. She trying to cook and stuff like that. And that's when she was like, yeah, because she can't cook. Paige ends up wanting to go out too, so she's supposed to be going out with them. There was this man at the gym talking to Zach or whatever. He could tell that something was bothering him. He kept saying he was okay, but he finally ended up opening up to him. I think he said his name was Keys or something like that. But yeah, he offered a listening ear to Zach. He even gave his number. And Zach told him it was something he needed to do. And what he needed to do, he showed up at the end of today's episode. It's a nice new episode. I keep saying today. He showed up at the end of the episode at Karen's door. And they're supposed to be having a conversation about everything. What else? Let me see. Where did I stop at? Oh, Hayden came in the office, in Fatima's office or whatever, and he ended up wanting to help. He offers to help with the Kendrick account. That's when she ends up getting a call from the receptionist or whatever saying that somebody named Chaz Duncan was there or whatever. So that's when Hayden offers to help again, and she agrees. And she told him if he messes this up, nobody will be able to find him. She was just letting him know that if he messed it up, nobody would be able to find him. On next week's episode, they showed Tamara over here in the guy face. And I was like, ain't you with Hayden over here? Did y'all break over? How did you even know? I was like, he already messing up because his woman over here messing up stuff. Then they showed Andy. She was like, what's this or whatever, and she explaining that it's her cases for the ball players. She was like, what ball players? And she made a face. But y'all know when they show certain trailers, they be piecing together stuff. That don't mean she gonna be upset. That don't mean she not gonna be upset. We don't know until we actually see the episode. What else? Let me see. Danny ends up asking Andy if she wants to go see Karen. She agrees. She ends up telling Danny about the lady that went to law school that bled out. Andy. Why I write Andy? Danny ends up asking about her settlement. We already talked about that part. Karen ends up telling Aaron that she just want to be helpful and make a little dinner or whatever. Says she's trying to shake this feeling, but it's a lot. And he just so patient and understanding. I still want to know who John is though. Look, I ain't dropped it yet. They want to sit up here and give all these seasons and nobody told us who John is. But yeah, he really has been stepping up for her. He been taking care of their daughter. He been looking out for her, trying to cook for her. He done went, I think he said he got delivery, some food delivery. She was saying she went hungry, but he was going to get it either way to go. Yeah, he just been taking care of her, trying to talk to her, get her to come back to and everything. But yeah, let's see. Zach and the Keys dude at the gym, they was talking about life, how stuff keep happening left and right. He was saying something about his 3-year-old had died from cancer. Ain't that what he said? I think that's what he said. And he thought that was the worst. But then, his lady ended up losing her job. So it was just back to back. He was just trying to let Zach know that it happens or whatever. And they was bonding over that. And I was like, that's good. Did they ever say what happened? Did Zach ever know his daddy? Let me know, y'all. Did Zach ever know who his daddy was? I want to know if they going to actually show us anything pertaining to that in what's it called? Zatima. On Zatima or whatever. What else? Let's see. I think the last two things is that Maurice ends up bringing Sabrina clothes and she was trying it on. I think the first dress, I was like, I couldn't really see it. It looked like it was something lace. And I was like, go take that tape. This is one of them back in the day. No. I said, go take that tablecloth off. I remember this little, it was just like that, but it was white. It was made just like that. It was a little tablecloth, not a tablecloth. What's it called? The little cup that be sitting up on it. It's not. It's kind of like a coaster, but it's not a coaster. That's exactly how it was made. I said, you gonna go take that out? Then she came out with another dress. But yeah, and the last thing we already talked about, Zach ends up stopping by to see Karen at the end of the episode, and he was asking if he could come in. But that was it. That was it, y'all. Do y'all be watching all the Queens men? They be dropping it. I be watching it early in the morning on Thursdays or whatever, but I don't never do no reviews on anything. But yeah, let me know y'all thoughts down below. Stay tuned for the next video. Until next time, this is her girls tonight. Be